Find a comfortable seat on your mat. Be sure to pull the flesh away from the sit bones so that you're starting off stable and sturdy. Draw the navel in towards the spine and allow the crown of the head to reach towards the sky. Bring the shoulder blades together and down the back and place the hands on the thighs, palms up, and close your eyes. And just start to become aware of your breath, allowing that breath to flow in through the nose and out through the nose. Start to bring the breath into balance by making the inhale the same length as the exhale. So if your inhale is for a count of 4, your exhale would be for a count of 4. If your inhale was for a count of 6, your exhale would be for a count of 6, and so on. With each inhale, allow the spine to grow tall. And as you exhale, keep the length in the spine, but just begin to allow your body to soften, relax any tension that you're holding on to. As you sit and breathe, I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're going to be focusing on today. And that is the 3 planes of motion. So the body exists on a 3-dimensional plane, but often we only stretch in a 1-dimensional way. And by incorporating all 3 planes of movement, we can increase the range of motion, prevent injuries, and provide greater stability for the body. So we've got 3 planes: sagittal, frontal, which you might also hear called coronal, and transverse. So we live most of the time in the sagittal plane, and in that plane, you can imagine the body is divided into right and left halves, and it includes movements that include flexion and extension. So think of sitting, running, biking, rowing, sun salutation. So it's everything that's moving this way. Right side, left side. Bicep curls, flexion, extension. The second plane is called the frontal plane, and that divides the body into a front and a back side. These movements are going to be your side to side movements. So bringing the arms out to the sides. Speed skaters going from side to side. Dancers, surfers, any of our side bending. That is going to be the frontal or coronal plane of motion. The third one is transverse, and that's going to be any rotation. So turning the head from side to side, all of our twists, but it also includes internal and external rotation of the limbs, so the arms and the legs. So my arms may be straight out in the sagittal plane, but if I turn the palms to face the sky, I'm rotating those limbs, so it also becomes a transverse movement. So it's not really important for you to remember all of those details, but I wanted to let you know what they were so you could better understand why we might include certain poses in our classes. So the most important reason to include all 3 planes of movement in your yoga practice, in your exercise, is to increase proprioception. Proprioception is the body's ability to sense joint position and movement. So it's basically allowing your body to know where it is in space. As we get older, just naturally, our balance starts to get worse. Our eyesight gets a little worse. So you might find as you get older, your stability and balance is off. That's a natural thing that happens. But something that you can do to counterbalance those natural things that happen as we age is to increase the body's proprioception, to know where it is in space. So that is the main reason that we want to make sure we're covering all three planes of motion in our practice. So let's bring the hands together at the heart. I know that wasn't a nice soothing poem, but it's really important that we understand the hows and the whys so that we can better choose which poses might be better for each of us in each situation. So let's bring the hands together at the heart in Anjali Mudra, prayer position. We'll breathe together 3 times, and on the third exhale, we'll share the sound of Om. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Inhale. And exhale. And for the third time together, inhale. Bow your head. Place the hands on the thighs. Softly open your eyes looking forward. So as we flow through the practice today, I'm just going to be pointing out the planes of motion that we're working on. It's nothing you have to remember. It's just to sort of understand our bodies better. So bring your arms by your sides. As you inhale, arms reach up. And as you exhale, arms lower. So right now we're moving in that sagittal plane, which is where we spend most of our time. The next time the arms are up overhead, allow the palms to come together to touch. And then as you exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Bring your arms out by your sides. This time as you inhale, arms come up out to the sides. The palms touch up overhead. And then we'll lower again, arms out nice and wide. So now we're bringing things into the frontal plane because we're bringing those arms out to the sides. And notice you're kind of warming up different muscles here than you were. So it's an arm raise, just the same, but we're working in a different plane of motion. We are getting those muscles from a different angle or perspective. The next time the arms are up overhead, allow the palms to come together to touch. As you exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Let's just place our hands on our knees. Press down through the sit bones. Inhale, grow tall. As you exhale, turn that head to look to the left. Inhale, come back to center. As you exhale, turn that head to look towards the right. So now we're working in that transverse plane. We're also in the sagittal plane because we're sitting. Come back to a neutral neck, neutral spine. Place the left hand by your side. Right fingertips reach towards the sky. So you're going to press down through the sit bones. Inhale, grow tall. As you exhale, begin to tip to your left. You can walk the fingertips out, bow out the right ribs. So here we're in a side-to-side movement. So this is the frontal plane, but we're still sitting, so also sagittal. Slowly bring yourself back up. Place that right hand by your side. Left fingertips reach tall. As you exhale, tip to the right. Slowly bring yourself back up. Place the arms by your sides. As you inhale, arms sweep up. On the exhale, hinge from the hips, folding forward. If the back feels like it's going to start to round, just bring the hands down to the ground. Inhale, create length in your spine. Exhale, perhaps you can walk the hands forward. Sagittal plane here. Start to walk the hands back towards the body, coming back up to seated. We'll switch the cross of the legs, readjust the sit bones as needed. As you inhale, arms sweep up. On the exhale, hinge from the hips. When you feel like the back wants to start rounding, just bring the hands down to the ground. Inhale, create length in the spine. Exhale, maybe you can hinge a little further. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge. Start to walk the hands back towards the body, coming back to a nice tall spine. Bring the left hand behind the left hip. Right hand comes to the top of that left knee. Press down through the sit bones. Inhale, grow tall. As you exhale, starting at that belly, begin to twist to your left, transverse plane, rotation. With each inhale, create length in the spine, and with the exhale, perhaps you can twist a little further. Press down through the sit bones. Inhale, create length in the spine. As you exhale, slowly start to come back to center, starting with the head, working your way down to the belly. Place the right hand behind the right hip. Left hand comes to the top of that right knee. Press down through the sit bones. Inhale, grow tall. As you exhale, begin to twist to the right. Breathe here. Press down through the sit bones. As you inhale, create length in the spine. On the exhale, slowly bring yourself back to center. Let's come to all fours, hands and knees. So when we come to all fours, the knees are slightly behind the hips, hands slightly forward of your shoulders. Take a breath in. As you exhale, shift the hips to the heels, the chest to the thighs, coming to child's pose. As you inhale, come back up, all fours. So we're working in the sagittal plane again, extension and flexion. And if you're confused as to what extension and flexion are, flexion is when, notice the hips. So as you're shifting back, your belly is becoming closer to those thighs. That is flexion. Then when you come back up, you're creating space between the chest and the thighs. Extension. Exhale back. Inhale up. And like I said, the words that I'm throwing out, you do not need to remember. It's simply just to give you a better understanding of your body and why we do the things we do in class. And a lot of my physical issues deal with not enough frontal plane movement, too much sagittal. But that's just me. Come back to all fours. Take a breath in here. As you exhale, you're going to wag the tail to the left as you turn to look over the left shoulder. So you should feel a nice stretch in the right side of the body. Inhale, come back to center. And on the exhale, you'll wag the tail to the right, turning to look over that right shoulder. Inhale, back to center. So here we're going side to side. Which is moving in that frontal plane. Come back to center. Shift back to child's pose. So here we're going to practice child's pose in the transverse plane, which is that rotation. So you're going to place your left hand in the left hip crease. Press the right hand into the floor. Begin to twist at the belly to the left as you press that right hand into the mat. That left elbow points to the sky. Breathe here. Slowly come back to center. Extend the left leg long. Left arm long to meet the right. Place the right hand in that right hip crease. Press down through the left hand. Take a breath in. As you exhale, begin to twist at the belly to the right, pressing down through the left hand. Right elbow points to the sky. Breathe here. Slowly come back to center. Extend the right arm long to meet the left. As you inhale, come back up all fours. I guess it's just going to be one of those days. Take a breath in. As you exhale, round the spine towards the sky. On the inhale, the belly draws down towards the mat, bottom and the head towards the sky. Exhale, round that spine. We're working in the sagittal plane here. Inhale, belly draws down. Now in yoga, we practice flexion and extension of the spine. So when we draw that spine up towards the sky, flexion. And when the belly goes down towards the mat, extension. Not all physical activities give us the opportunity to practice extension in the spine. Yoga, dancing, gymnastics, diving, those types of activities incorporate it. But if you're someone who sits all the time, give yourself the opportunity to practice some back bends. Come back to a neutral neck, neutral spine. Take a breath in. As you exhale, shift the hips to the heels, the chest to the thighs, keeping the elbows up off of the mat. So we're in the sagittal plane in child's pose, and we're going to add frontal plane movement. So take a breath in. As you exhale, begin to walk the hands out to the left. So you should feel that nice stretch in the right side body. To deepen that stretch, you can place the right hand on top of the left hand. Slowly walk the hands back to center. And on the next exhale, you'll walk your hands out to the right. This time, bowing out the left ribs. To deepen the stretch, you can place that left hand on top of the right. Slowly bring the hands back to center. Lower the elbows to the mat or cross the forearms in front of you. Rest the forehead. Come back to the balanced breath here. Let's come up to standing in Tadasana, mountain pose. So just however you'd like to get there, you'll come to standing. In Tadasana, your feet are parallel to each other. So they look like an 11. The feet are just femur width apart. Hips are stacked on the knees, knees stacked on ankles. So as you all know, my pelvis tips forward a lot. So to correct that, you're going to draw the navel towards the spine, tailbone towards the heels. The crown of the head reaches towards the sky. Shoulder blades come together and down the back. Crown of the head is reaching tall, Tadasana, mountain pose. So really quickly, I just wanted to talk to you about internal and external rotation, which is transverse plane movement. So we do internal and external rotation in different poses. To internally rotate, we're turning the arms in or turning the thighs in towards each other. External rotation, turning them out. So internal, imagine things turning in towards one another. External, they turn out. Now my arms seem to be internally rotated. It's muscular imbalance, something I need to work on correcting. So we're standing in Tadasana. As you inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, arms lower. Moving with your breath at your own pace. So some of us, like I mentioned, I have internally rotated shoulders right now. Some of us have internally rotated legs. All of these things are muscle imbalances that for the most part can be corrected or improved through various movements. And that's basically what a personal trainer does, or a physical therapist as well. So go ahead and lower the arms by your sides. Stand at the top of the mat. Take a nice big step back with the right foot. Right toes turn out slightly. So that's an external rotation of the right leg. So we've got a little transverse movement here. You're facing forward. Inhale, arms sweep up, sagittal. Exhale, left knee bends. Sagittal. Breathe here for Warrior One, Virabhadrasana 1. Bring the arms out like a T, so we're coming into that frontal plane. Take a breath in. As you exhale, begin to twist to the right, transverse. Gazing out over those left fingertips for Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Breathe here. As you inhale, straighten the right leg. Exhale, come back to center. Lower your arms. Step that right foot forward to meet the left, coming back to Tadasana, mountain pose. Take a nice big step back with that left foot. External rotation in the back leg there, so the toes point out slightly. Torso faces forward. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, right knee bends. Virabhadrasana 1, warrior 1. Breathe. Now remember, when we're doing these adjustments, external rotation, things like that, if it causes pain, we back off. If it's muscular discomfort because it's hard work, we keep going. Bring the arms out like a T, frontal. Take a breath in. As you exhale, begin to twist to your left, transverse as you gaze out over the right fingertips. Breathe here. Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2. As you inhale, straighten that right leg. Exhale, come back to center. Lower your arms. Step that left foot forward to meet the right. So we're going to take a wide-legged stance on the mat now. So we are bringing things out to the sides, frontal plane. Rooting down through the 4 corners of the feet. Feet are parallel to each other. As you inhale, arms sweep up, sagittal. Exhale, hinge from the hips, folding forward along that sagittal plane. Relax the head and neck here. Focus on your breath. Bring your hands to your hips. Use the core to bring yourself back up to standing. As you inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, fold forward. So this time, you're going to place your right hand on the mat right beneath your face. Begin to twist to the left as you reach the left arm towards the sky. Breathe here. So we're working in all 3 planes of motion here. We have our wide legs, our forward fold, and our twist. Lower the left hand to the mat. Place the left hand beneath the head on your mat. Begin to twist at the belly to the right. The right arm reaches towards the sky. Breathe here. Lower that right hand to the mat. Place the hands on your hips. Press down through the feet to come up. So we're going to create an internal rotation on that left foot. So come up on the heel, toes turn in slightly. Come up on the heel of the right foot, externally rotate so the toes point straight ahead. Bring the arms out like a T, and we're going to create just a small little adjustment here, turning the palms to face the sky. Keep the chest open, and then just turn the palms to face the floor. Gaze out over those right fingertips. Take a breath in. As you exhale, let the right knee bend. So we find ourselves in warrior 2. Bend the right elbow. As you exhale, tip to the right, and then let the left arm slide so that the bicep is right over the ear here. Or you can place that hand on the hip. Focus on the breath. Press down through the feet. Use the left hand to bring yourself back to warrior 2. Straighten the right leg, lower the arms, bring the feet back to parallel. As you inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, fold forward, hinging from those hips. So right now we have our wide legs in a forward fold. Place the hands on the hips, press down through the feet to bring yourself up. This time, you're going to come up on the heel of that right foot. Inner rotation, toes turn in slightly. Come up on the heel of that left foot, external rotation. Toes point out to your left. Arms come parallel to the mat. Make that small adjustment, turn the palms to face the sky to externally rotate those shoulders. Keep the rotation, but lower or turn the palms to face the ground. Gaze out over those left fingertips. Take a breath in as you exhale. Let that left knee bend. Focus on the breath here. Bend the left elbow, and as you exhale, frontal plane, tip to your left, forearm to the thigh. The right arm can slide so that the bicep is over the ear, or the hand can be on the hip. Press down through the feet. Use that right hand to bring yourself back up to warrior two. Straighten the left leg, lower the arms. Bring the feet back to parallel. Or we would call that neutral. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, hinge from the hips. Relax the head and neck. Watch the breath flow in through the nose and out through the nose. Bring the hands to the hips. Press down through the feet and come up to standing. So just step your feet back to Tadasana just to take a little break from that wide leg stance. You can just shake the legs out a little bit. We are going to do one more pose with the wide leg stance. So let's take the legs wide again. So we're going to do triangle pose. Now, triangle pose is a little different in that most of the times I see it taught, we don't create the internal rotation of the foot. Sometimes people just keep it straight. So what we'll do is we'll come up on the heel of that right foot, turn the toes out. Arms come parallel to the mat. Gaze out over the right fingertips. Don't jut the hip out, but begin to reach the right fingertips to the space to your right. And then as you exhale, frontal plane, we're going to tip to the right for Utthita Trikonasana, extended triangle pose. So this pose, you can have your left arm up in the air or just place the hand on the hip. We want nice stacked shoulders here. Balanced breath. Press down through the feet. Use the left hand, bring yourself back up. Exhale, lower the arms. Turn that right foot back to neutral, facing forward. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, fold forward. Relax the head and neck. While you're here, we're going to work on that frontal plane a bit. So go ahead and bend your left knee. Shift over to the left. Come back to center and then bend the right knee, shift over to the right. Come back to center. Hands come to the hips, press down through the feet and bring yourself up. So let's do triangle on the other side. Come up on the heel of the left foot, toes turn out. Arms parallel to the mat. Gaze out over the left fingertips. Take a breath in, begin to reach the left fingertips to the space to the left, and as you exhale, tip to your left, Utthita Trikonasana, extended triangle pose. Press down through the feet. Use the right hand to bring yourself back up. As you exhale, lower your arms. Feet come back to parallel. One more time. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, hinge. Relax the head and neck here. You can turn the head gently from side to side, working in that transverse plane of motion. Let the head become still. Bring your hands to your hips. Press down through the feet. Step those feet back to Tadasana, mountain pose. We're going to come to lay down on our bellies. So just lay down comfortably on your belly. You can cross the forearms in front of you and rest the forehead. Bend the knees and just rotate your ankles here. Reverse the direction of that ankle rotation. Let the feet become still. Lower the legs to the ground. Bring your arms by your sides, palms face the sky. We're going to practice Shalabhasana 3 different times and talk about each plane of motion each time. Or you know what I mean. Okay. As you inhale, head, chest, arms, and legs simultaneously lift up off of the mat. And then as you exhale, lower. So here, movement is in the sagittal plane. Inhale, everything lifts. Exhale, everything lowers. 3 more on your own here. When you finish, you can just lower down, cross the forearms in front of you, and rest the forehead. Bring the arms back by your side. So this time, we're going to lift. We'll do something with the legs, and then we'll lower. So I'll talk you through it. As you inhale, the head, chest, arms, and legs simultaneously lift up off of the mat. Pause here. Legs come out like a V, frontal plane. Legs come back together, and we lower. Inhale, everything lifts. Pause here and exhale. Inhale, legs like a V. Exhale, legs come back. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, lower. 2 more times. Inhale, lift. Pause, exhale. Inhale, legs like a V. Exhale, legs together. Pause, inhale. Exhale, lower. 1 more time. Inhale, lift, sagittal. Legs out like a V, frontal. Legs back together, sagittal. Exhale, lower. Cross the forearms in front of you. Rest the forehead. So next we will focus on the transverse plane in this pose. So instead of having your forehead to the mat, bring your arms by your sides and turn your head to look towards your left. As you inhale, head, chest, arms, legs lift as the head comes to neutral. Exhale, everything lowers as the head turns to look towards the right. Inhale, everything lifts, head to neutral. Exhale, head turns to look towards the left as you lower. 2 more on each side. When you finish, you can just roll over onto your back and hug those knees into the chest. Take your time if you're not there yet, but once you come to lay on your back, you can hug the knees to the chest and rock side to side. Lower the soles of the feet to the mat. Bring the arms by your sides, palms face the floor. Draw the pelvic floor up, the navel draws in. Engage both of those glutes, press down through the feet, lift those hips. And on the exhale, lower the hips. Inhale, everything lifts. Exhale, everything lowers. Dynamic bridge pose. Sagittal plane movement. The next time you lower those hips, pause there. Bring the arms out like a T, so we're bringing them into the frontal plane. Draw the knees into the chest along the sagittal plane. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, begin to tip the legs over to the left on that transverse plane. So you'll take the left leg to the mat, right leg can rest on top of it. Ideally, the shoulders are both rooted to the earth, but if the right shoulder's popping up, you can just bend that elbow and place the hand on the rib cage to protect it. Close your eyes here. Watch the breath flow in through the nose and out through the nose. Slowly bring the knees back towards the chest. Arms will stay out like a T. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, you'll lower those legs to the right. So you're twisting to the right. Again, the shoulders are rooted to the earth, but if that left shoulder is sort of dangling in space, just bend the elbow and place the hand on the rib cage. Slowly draw the knees back up. Press the soles of the feet up towards the sky. Sagittal plane. Begin to rotate the ankles, transverse. Reverse the direction of the ankle rotation. Let the ankles become still. Moving along that frontal plane, legs come out, like a V. So flex the feet so that the heels are reaching higher than the toes. Draw the legs together, you're drawing the heels together. Point the toes towards the sky. Bring the legs back out like a V. Flex the feet. Draw the heels together. So we have an external rotation of the legs here. Come out like a V. Flex the feet. Draw the heels together. Point like a V. Flex. Heels together. Point out like a V. Flex. Heels together. One more time. Point the toes. Legs like a V. Flex the feet. Draw the heels together. Bring the legs back to neutral. Hug the knees into the chest. Take the right hand on the right knee, left hand on the left knee. Working in the sagittal plane as you inhale. Knees pull away from the chest, the arms straighten. As you exhale, draw the knees to the chest. Inhale, knees pull away. Exhale, knees pull in. The next time you hug the knees in, pause there. Moving along the frontal plane, bring the knees out like a V. Arms come between the legs. See if you can grasp the pinky toe sides of the feet. And if not, you can hold on to the ankles. And then guide the soles of the feet to look up towards the sky. Rock side to side for happy baby, Ananda Balasana. Become still. Lower the soles of the feet to the mat. Take the feet out as wide as the mat. Hands rest on the belly. And just let the knees sway from side to side. Let those knees become still, and then let the knees just fall in on one another. Take the index fingers, link them together, and then bring the arms up overhead and just breathe here. We're going to begin to transition into Shavasana, the last pose of our class. If there's anything that you need to be comfortable, please feel free to grab that. Once you have what you need, you're just going to extend the legs out nice and long. Arms are by your sides. Palms face the sky, and the arms are a few inches away from the body. Let the feet just flop open naturally. Relax the jaw by creating a space between the top and bottom rows of teeth. And let the tongue fall away from the roof of the mouth. Let the eyes rest in their sockets. Resist the urge to make subtle movements. Allow the natural breath to take over. Rest in Shavasana. Slowly start to deepen the breath, becoming aware of the room once again and becoming aware of the body. You can start to make subtle movements that feel good, like wiggling the fingers and toes. You can turn that head gently from side to side. Stretch through the arms and the legs like you're just waking up. And then roll to the right side in the fetal position. And we'll stay there for a few breaths. Keeping the eyes closed, if you'd like, you can use the arms to bring yourself back up to a comfortable seated position. Once you get there, you can bring the hands together at the heart in Anjali Mudra. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today and learning all about the 3 planes of motion. By incorporating all 3 planes in our practice, we can increase our range of motion, prevent injuries, and provide greater stability for your body. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be free from suffering. May you have ease and well-being. Namaste. Thank you all so much.